Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We are going to talk about one of the childhood phrases we heard all the time that is probably the biggest lie ever told to us. I'm super excited for today because there is something that has always kind of eaten away at me. And I'm so excited that we get to break down the lie of sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. It is hands down the probably one of the worst sayings that could ever have been said to children or people. Bones can mend, bones can heal, but our self-talk, the words that we hear, everything holds a frequency, and that frequency is so powerful. We move on our emotions, and when someone says something bad to us or we self-talk in a way that brings us into a negative space, we are then aligning on that negative frequency highway. And we do not want to be on that highway. Okay? We need to get off the highway. But what happens is we get into this momentum of thought and we are on this train and we are going and going. And this is where one of my favorite phrases starts to come in where I go, my attention has left the room. My attention has left the room because I am in a zone and we are just plowing down the highway. Or if you want to think about a train, you are on that train and it is just going and there is no stopping you. Our inner world creates our outer world. Just as you always hear, as above, so below, everything is kind of a mirror to us. So what our inner world creates is our outer world. It creates your identity, and we will definitely get into identity because a big word I am hearing all over is instead of shape shifting, it's identity shifting. And it really all starts with what is going on in that head of yours. How are you talking to yourself? So important that we are aware of our own self-talk. Also, I think it's really important that we really watch and choose our words wisely because the words we say to others also carries a frequency and it's going to affect others. So the more that you're pushing out words that may not be very kind, you're creating this frequency and this energy field around you. And is that what you want? Do you want to be in this frequency of negativity or anger or aggression? I personally don't. And this is where the concept of hive mind comes in as well. So when you go into like large groups, I like to think about the Taylor Swift concerts is a good example, kind of a positive, more positive example, because what happens is you hear from people that are walking out and they're like, they walk out and they're kind of like dazed and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't remember some of the concert. And it's because you're swept into this like energy. You don't even realize some of the times what's going on. You're just like swept in this wave. That's kind of what a hive mind energy feels. You see these old rock concerts, but everyone's like jumping up and down, and there's just like this energy flow of like, I would say more of joy, happiness, excitement. Like this brings you to like euphoric feelings, right? Those are good energy states to be in. Now you can come crashing down a little bit, but you also want to remember and be present when you're in these energy states. And that's where we get kind of caught up. I think too about some of the protests and things. I won't go into that energy field because I know if someone's yelling out negative things, that attracts negative things. And I don't want to be in an area that draws in this negativity to me or sweeps into me. You can feel, I've walked into rooms and you can feel like energy moving in rooms, or I do little experiments to see, can I shift the energy of the room? What do I want to practice with? And you can do this. You can be the one who kind of steps in and holds the frequency. And some people are a little better at this than others. But you should see, like, do you walk in a room and the whole energy of a room shifts? Do you have that power? And if you do, are you using it for good? So when we think about the frequency highways, right? The universe operates, literally the universe operates on these frequency lines, okay? So if you're on a frequency line that is keeping you stuck, that's not progressing, that's putting you in a bad mood, that you're not manifesting or getting the things you desire, we need to shift your track. You need to consider, okay, first, what's going on up here in the head? How am I talking to myself? And part of that is going to be looking at if you have self-doubt, jealousy, unworthiness. There is a list and list of things you can feel. If you're blaming yourself, there's so many. So the universe operates on these frequencies. So it's really important to pay attention to what frequency you are on. Now, in order to do that, you have to have some self-awareness. Most of us are very aware that change doesn't happen when we try to control the external world. Change only happens when we focus on our internal world. This is where that self-awareness really comes in. Listen, your mind is just trying to match whatever you're telling it. So if you're telling it, I'm not worthy, yeah, you're not meeting that soulmate. You're not getting that job because it's going to match you to the frequency of not receiving because you don't feel worthy. And therefore, your brain's like, yeah, we're not going to give it to you then. So you have to work slowly, and they are baby steps to change this frequency. When you get into that momentum, that train of thought, like first just acknowledge, like, uh-oh, my attention has left the room. My attention is on a train going in a direction of not what I want. And it is cruising this way down a self-talk storytelling narrative. And believe me, I love storytelling if you follow my pull the charts. I love finding the story in the charts. And that's where astrology for me comes in, is I can look at and go, okay, all the planets are on frequencies. They're all on a spectrum of different frequencies. Okay, sometimes I play at this end and this end doesn't really get me to my destination, but I have to recognize it's going to happen. Like, I can't always be Miss Susie Sunshine. I sometimes have to play negative Nelly. So it happens. It happens to all of us. There is a phrase I use, and it is eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. And that eternal vigilance is me focusing on my own self-talk. Now, my brain works a lot, okay? It is constantly moving, constantly going. And I have gotten better and better about catching when it jumps track. But this has been like years of understanding that my brain is just walls of Post-it notes, and I need to learn how to whoosh, throw away some of those Post-it notes that are useless. They don't apply anymore. They're not getting me to my destination. But really, you just have to take small, small steps. So it's really important to remember that change does not happen when we control the external. Change happens when we control our internal worlds. As a storyteller, one of the things I always think to myself when I'm on these momentum trains is, what is the story I'm telling myself? Is this story helpful or hurtful to me? Does this story get me to where I'm going? I don't try to control the process of where I'm going to, but I want to make it a little easier. I would like to not have broken tracks or a derailment along the way. I don't want to invite in chaos. So it's very important that I am going, okay, keep your mind a little bit in check. And it's hard. Believe me, eternal vigilance. Not easy at all. So you have to be ready to take control of your thoughts. You have to believe that you get to choose your thoughts, and that by choosing your thoughts, you are creating your reality. We talked in one of my other videos too about how to change your thoughts, how to change where your emotion is. And that starts with just little things of, when you catch that, stop to yourself and say, oh my gosh, I appreciate myself. I just caught. I just caught my train of thought. I just caught myself going down the storytelling doom route. Just be really proud of yourself that, oh my goodness, you took a moment, you paused, and you're able to have a bit of self-awareness. And you're going to realize a lot of people haven't quite gotten to this point yet, right? You see them just reacting and going and saying, like verbal vomiting all over the place all the time. You'll start to realize too, the more self-aware you become of your own thought trains, that being around people who really have no filter, you're going to start to like pull back a little bit and go and realize, I don't know if this is the right energy for me to be in, because you are going to start really holding better boundaries on the energy you are going to allow around you. Okay. So we are in Pluto and Aquarius. Just remember, you're an individual in the collective. Uranus rules Aquarius. So many times I hear this like, everything's for the community, everything's for the collective, but you're still an individual in this collective. You get to decide which groups do you want to be around? What people or groups help move you forward as well? This is your experience on Earth. Okay, if you believe in the afterlife and you pass and you go to do your review, they're going to talk about your life, not everybody else's around you. So, what happens when you get stuck in these loops, right? You're stuck in this loop. You can't get out of this loop. It's been happening for a long, long time, and your life is not going in the direction you want it to. You feel like you're surrounded by more chaos. You feel like you can't, like, you're almost like your sense of freedom has been taken a bit from you. When you have this self-awareness with your own internal talk, and this includes like when people talk at you and you take this in and you start running that story as well in your head, you have to take the moment and realize you choose your thoughts, and it's really your responsibility to make your own internal changes. It's not my job or someone else's job to change your thought patterns. When you're able to recognize, pause, and notice these thought patterns and realize that's not putting me where I want to go, what's going to happen is you're going to start making small changes in your thought patterns. You're going to start saying, I am worthy. I heard once someone told me that, let's say you want $1 million, right? Who doesn't want more financial abundance? All of a sudden you start meeting people, or you're around people, or you're seeing more people who have this thing. So I've also heard the theory that when you start seeing this around you, it's like the universe is going, you can have this too, right? You can have this too. I'm showing you, you can have this too. But now you have to go, what internal patterns do I need to change to get to that? And by changing those patterns, by changing your behaviors, your actions, your intentional actions, and what you're doing every day, you are shifting your own identity. So you're saying, I am worthy of having this $1 million as well. And then you begin to work on the container to hold it. Your inner patterns determine how you move through life, and it really shapes your entire life experience. That is why you see so many people talking about mindset work, right? EFT tapping. There's all kinds of methods too. Mantras, right? I love a good mantra. I journal mantras all over the place. I write them like the Bart Simpsons, beginning of The Simpsons, the blackboard. I just have pages of journals of just mantras that I write before I start my morning journaling. I'm just feeding my brain what I need it to do for the direction I need it to go. It's really important to have control over these inner patterns, because what you believe about yourself controls your nervous system, your reactions, and your choices. Listen, it's as simple as, if you don't feel safe, you're constantly scanning, right? Hypervigilance, you're constantly scanning. If you're not feeling worthy, you aren't getting the things you really want, and you're also tolerating things that you actually don't want. You're inviting, because you tolerate it, your system's like, your energy, your frequency, your mind is like, cool, she likes us. This keeps us safe. We're just going to stay there. Or how about when you go through and create every scenario of in your head of what could go on, but you really focus on the doomsday ones, right? How many times you're like, worst case scenario, but I'm prepared for it. Cool, because usually, hopefully, it doesn't always happen, but it doesn't mean you're getting the highest expression of what could have happened. Your brain is constantly trying to match the thoughts you're giving it. Okay. So important. Like, I am very particular about the energy I'm around, the type of people I'm around. There are people I've had to cut out of my life because it's not an energy match. I called it like a frequency mismatch. It's not going to work. It's okay. Move on. There's other people you will align with. There's other people I will align with. There are things I won't watch because I don't want that thought in my head. I don't watch a lot of scary movies. I just don't want that in my brain. Like, I know my system, and that doesn't work for me. My brain isn't the best at going, that's fake, that's false, right? I don't want the nightmares. I'm very, very cautious of what my own child consumes as well. I have no problem standing up to teachers and saying that's not appropriate for my child. It's really important that you think about what you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you experience. You have all of these senses, and all of these senses are feeding into your brain. And your brain is working with your inner thought patterns, this inner world, and it's creating for you. So think about all the stimulation that you are taking in on a regular basis. Is this moving you to the right path? That's why I just can't believe for so many years they told us sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's just wildly terrible because the words stay. My bones heal, but the words of what you said, the moment that you said it, initial feeling that I feel through my body when you say that stays with me. That gets imprinted into my system. Yeah, it's gonna hurt for a second when I break that bone, and I'll remember that, but my bone heals. So really take a moment to step back when you want to put that negative comment out on someone's video. When you wanna make a post that's really negative, you're putting that out there on that frequency to attract that back in. Is that serving your greater good? Not even about everyone else's, your greater good. So, really take some time to be self aware about the thoughts going through your head because a broken you, a broken me cannot contribute to the whole. So, just remember you choose your thoughts, you control the information that comes in, you control your reaction to that information. And if you need to stop and pause and think about, this isn't really going to feed my body, my nervous system very well, then you know what? Don't look at it. Don't respond to it. Scroll on, move on, step out of the room, go hug a tree. Go tell yourself, hey, go appreciate yourself. Take a moment and just appreciate yourself for recognizing that that's not putting you on the path of where you want to go. If this type of information resonates with you and it's something you are working on, you are welcome to do one of my cosmic guidance sessions because this is something we can work on. This is something I work on in my own spirituality classes, using astrology, understanding my own behavior patterns. And it has truly been eye-opening. Just remarkable the changes that I have seen in my own life and the opportunities that have come in. It's like mini miracles all the time, and I'm so grateful for the experiences and my learning and what I'm getting to share with you. So I hope you find it useful. Please like and subscribe and follow along.